So this video might be a long one, but what we're going to do is do an upgrade, or essentially remove this compound slide on the lathe. Since we have a DRL set up now for our main saddle, we don't feel like it's necessary anymore to have this compound slide. So what we're going to do is basically delete it, really. So this is going to be replacing this compound slide up on top. And this is slightly lower, which is ideal since for one of our tooling with this quick release tool post here, it sits a little too high. So I want this whole tool post to sit slightly lower, which will allow me to use my parting tool, which is right here. This parting tool here. So I have it backed out pretty far, but even then, when it's mounted in this tool post, I can't get it low enough to be with the center of my chuck. So that's part of the project, and then also it'll add rigidity to the whole lathe. So yeah, I was able to buy this 3" by 2" round stock here at my local metal store for, it was about $8 and some change, or around $9 after tax. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna face it, and then we're just gonna turn this down for the heck of it, because it's probably gonna have some imperfections in it, and they cut it with some type of saw here, so it's not completely flat. So we'll face it to make it completely flat, and then we're going to drill 2 holes into it for the mounting, and we're going to counter bore it so the Allen screw would fit into here, and then we'll tap it and thread a I think this is a M8 pitch for the tool post to sit on here. So yeah, that's going to be our project. First off, what we're going to have to do is mount it into this chuck. And in order to do that, we're going to have to change the jaws. So someone else mentioned in one of my earlier videos, I think it was the unboxing video actually, of the extra jaws here. And these are basically the reverse of this, since this mounts typically in the middle, or when you open it up, it'll grab the inside of a part. These will allow you to grab the outside of something bigger than what this set could do. So they did give me some good information. Basically, these 3 are numbered differently, so then you typically go from 1, 2, and 3. And so with my chuck here, I numbered it so you can see number 1, number 2, and number 3, just for reference. So then when I do take these jaws out, I know which one's going to come out first, which will be number 3. And then so with this set here, they are numbered on the inside, stamped. So here's 1, 2, and 3. But for any reason, if you do need to figure out which is which, you could always look at the back side here, and then number 1 tooth or gearing will always have the most blank on it. So if I were to place it in order like so, number 1 being the top one, you can see how they are different. So yeah, first thing we're gonna do is take these off. So I'll go ahead and start with number 3, since that's the first one that's going to release from this jaw, or from the chuck. So I'm just going to back it all the way, and then number 3 comes out. I'll rotate it to number 2. Number 2 came out, and then number 1. And when working with the chuck, it is good practice to just disconnect the entire lathe so you don't accidentally power it on. And then you also have this safety here where if you lock it in here, it won't be able to power on. And now when we're installing the new jaws, you're going to start with number 1 first. So I'll place number 1 in, and then I'll just position it so number 2 could also be in place. So when I do tighten it, number 1's now locked in. Number 2 is locked in, and now number 3. So after that, you just wind it all the way in, double check that they all meet in the middle, and they do. So there is our jaw swap. And now, since these surfaces aren't flat yet, I can't use them as a reference point. So what I'll do is I will open this up, but then when I do mount it into the jaw here, I'll be sure to not put it completely in and let the outside teeth do its work by centering it. So I'll give it a little turn also. Tighten it down. So now we'll plug in the lathe, power it on, and see where we're at. All right, so now we're looking pretty good. Here it is, powered on. Now, the next thing we're gonna have to do is mount our tool, and when we do this, we can't back it out far enough to start from the outer edge. So what we're gonna have to do is rotate this cross slide here to get out of the way, or at least we're gonna go negative degrees on here. So first off, I have it locked in, so I haven't been using it for a while, but I'll loosen up these so I could back it out all the way. And to adjust the angle of this, you're gonna have to back it up pretty far, and then you'll see 2 Allen bolts under here. It's a 5mm Allen. So loosen that up, and then you'll be able to change the angle of it. And then we'll mount our tool in place just for reference, so we know how much we need to back out. So we're gonna just go with 30 degrees on this. And then remember, when you roll it in, you'll be further away from the part also. And right there, we'll clear the part now. And you also want to be mindful of this angle here, because then if the part is longer, it may hit. So I just test it by going in a decent amount just to see. And we are okay. So now I'm going to tighten this back up. And then I'll tighten my tool post down. And you also want to center it, so I'll use my jaw as a reference point. Like so. And looks like we're all ready to go. So first thing we're going to do is face the part, and then you want to make sure that it's nice and tight. And I will use, in this case, we won't be able to use our tailstock to secure the slide or the saddle in place. So I'm just going to go under here. I'm going to tighten one of the bolts here to keep this from moving around. Okay, so let's power it on and face this part. So here's both sides already zeroed out. One thing I did learn with the 3-jaw chuck is that when you take something off and tighten it back up, it'll never be exactly the same spot. So you could see a little difference here on this part, and then just this area is where it matched up the best. But aside from that, there's just a little lip randomly, but that's okay because it's just for appearance in this case. So here's the part, and then now we're done turning it on the lathe. So all we're gonna have to do now is mark the holes to drill, and then we'll take it over to the drill press and drill our holes. I guess what I will do is the top side of it, I'll give it a little chamfer just so it's a little cleaner and I don't cut myself on here on accident. So alright, we're back. So we're all cleaned up now, and then we'll continue with taking off this section here. So tool post is removed. And here we are. So pretty much what's going to happen is we will have to put a hole in the middle also, but that's how it's going to sit. And then probably have the tool post just maybe right in middle like so. And then I do want to check my clearance just to make sure if I am working on decent sized parts, I have enough space to use this. So I might actually offset it a little bit. I might move the tool post slightly back, or yeah, probably have it something like that, just so I can work on a bigger part and still have clearance, and then I'll be able to go in all the way on a part also. So the first thing we're going to do is just start with a center hole here. I could actually rotate this, so ideally, well, this is, so here's the layout, it's all in line. So I think what I'll do, I'll just offset this whole thing. So let's measure it up. Let's see the distance between the two mounting holes here. So it's just about 32 millimeters apart. I think what I will do is I'll have this back bolt just right in the middle, and then I'll have the other one towards the edge, and then we'll have this right in the center. So that will allow me to mount this slightly back, and then I'll have my tool post sit a little further back also. So I think, I mean, since we do have a general spot in the middle here, I could have done this on the, actually I can still do it on the lathe. I don't need tool post, or yeah, I don't need tool post for this. So what I'll do is I'll mount this back in, and then I'll set up my drill chuck here, and I'll just mark off the center with my centering bits. Alright, so we have our centering hole right there. And then we'll figure out what drill bit we need to drill it completely through. Alright, so we got our drill press set up. We got the part mounted in here. Got it centered. So I have the drill press currently at 1,100 RPMs. And then I'll just be generous with the cutting fluid here. And we'll get to drilling now. First, I gotta plug in the drill press. Alright, and then we'll test dropping one of these bolts in. There we are. So now we just got to set up the drill press for the counter bore or countersink. So we're gonna run into an issue here because we don't have our drill press table anymore. Our friend over at Kelly Built is modifying that for us so it could fit our drill press properly. So what I'm gonna have to do is do this countersink by hand with the hand drill. So now that I got the 2 holes drilled, as well as the counter bore or countersink, all we have to do now is add that hole in the center. So for this, since I knew that the gap between the 2 bolts is 32 millimeters, I figured the middle mark would be 16. So then I just measured up 16 millimeters from the center hole and then marked it. So that should be the right spot for the stud that we have. Okay, so the next hole we need to make now is the hole for the M10 bolt. So I have my M10 tap. It's a M10 1.5 for reference. And then I have my drill bit right here, so I'm just going to mount up this drill bit, and I already marked the hole on my new part here. Alright, so here it is. I just got to clean up around the workbench a little bit, but here is our new post, threaded for M10. I hit it with the M8 countersink just to flatten the surface again, because I did thread it, and when I threaded it, it pushed some metal up along the edge. So here it is. Tool post goes right here. This mounts into the saddle, and then this back end is already countersunk. Initially it was going to be this way, but I ended up drilling it from here, so that's fine. I'll just add a little chamfer on this end with a file. I'll just mount it back into the lathe and clean that up a little bit, and then yeah, I'll go ahead and hit these parts with my deburring tool just so it's all flat, so when I do mount my tool post on here, these won't cause it to sit awkwardly. So I'll clean up, and then I'll get this all mounted up in the vise so I could show you the final product. Alright, here it is, all done. Basically, I offset the hole for the tool post because I wanted to be able to rotate this kind of like a cam, so if I need to pull it back more, I could loosen it and rotate it counterclockwise, and that would set this whole thing a little further back. And then if I wanted to go forward, I could do that also. The only thing is you do run into a little bit of clearance issue right here. If it does become a big deal, what I could do is just kind of chop whatever section I need to for more clearance later. But for now, I think it'll be okay, because mostly the part that I am working on won't be bigger than an inch, and I think anything bigger than an inch would interfere with this, at least depending on the angle I have it at. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you guys would have done anything different with your setup, let me know. You know, I'm still learning, so it'd be cool to hear your thoughts on it and how you would go about doing this yourself.